Hi guys, there's a story going around. The Zimbabwe game, Egypt Zimbabwe, the organizers decided to open up the stadium and invited the fans to come in for free because the stadium was not even half empty. It was practically empty when the game started, and by the end of it, they had about 30,000 fans flood in. They heard that they were being let in for free, and all the men, they rushed in and joined in and went to watch the match. So here's a story which I saw from a post on X by the Touchline X. Last night, organizers had to open free gates for the Egypt versus Zimbabwe game at the AFCON. The match started with an almost empty stadium, which resulted in the gates being opened for free entry. And then about 30,000 fans started watching the game from the stands, which was amazing because you could feel the electricity, the atmosphere, and it definitely improved the quality of the game. Zimbabwe benefited greatly because they were on fire and they almost caused an upset, only for the brilliance of Mo Salah in the end to make the difference. That they were, apart from them, they were obviously still second to Egypt, but they put in a valiant performance and they were very defensive. They almost executed their game plan and almost got the result they wanted. But this is the problem with AFCON. The countries we come from in Africa are super poor, very little disposable income. And I was having a look at some of the prices for tickets out there. And these are the prices where, like category 3, where you expect like regular fans to sit, which is basically your standard tickets, is 150 MAD. I think that is their current, that's their currency in Morocco, whatever. And that is about equivalent to $9 apparently. And then, of course, it will be $18 for this Cat 2 price for most games in the opening stages. And then VIP is 500 MAD. So let me have a look at. So it's about 12, 15 pounds, 15. For regular tickets, 400 MAD is about 30 pounds or $35 to $36. So it's about $40 for $40 for a VIP ticket, which when you think about it, in my currency in Zambia, $40, $50 is about 2,000 kwacha. I wouldn't want to pay that for a group stage game. I wouldn't, it's too much. And then if you're going to do mid-rate seats, which are about 300 MAD, you're looking at 1,000. That is quite a lot for you to watch more than one game a week. You're going to watch your team maybe once or twice and then go to maybe another game. Basically, it is too high for some of our countries. In Zambia, very few people would afford it. They might scrimp for one or two games to watch, spend $10 or $15 on a regular seat, but those will still be almost middle class families. And you don't want to go watch football, a tournament by yourself. You need to take your kids. If you've got children, you need to take kids, you need to take your nephews to the game. If you go to a football match in Africa, you are going with like a whole family. And the way things work in Africa, you are probably like one or two breadwinners. So you're going to have to pay for like 5, 6 people so that you can enjoy everything. Otherwise, you sneak off with a friend or two and don't buy food in the house. So the pricing is definitely out of reach for most African nations. And that is where I think subsidization needs to come in and where CAF has a huge problem. And this is where also CAF come in and start pandering to FIFA and their schedules, because if they're going to subsidize our tournaments to this level, and these tickets are subsidized, you've seen how much the World Cup tickets cost for them to make a profit. So when it comes to it, this is probably why we are, how can we progress like this? But the tickets are certainly out of reach for most regular African viewers. I asked ChatGPT to tell me the situation economically in Morocco for regular citizens. And this is a broader context. Morocco is classed as an upper middle class income country with a per capita GDP of $3,900 dollars for middle to higher earners, and which is literally very significantly lower than most or many Gulf and Western economies. Inflation is okay, 0.3%. So basically, the goods are not as expensive as we've seen in Europe and in most African nations, where our inflation has basically gone wild. So there's been some economic growth in terms of automotive or aerospace, tourism services, especially with them hosting all these tournaments. They hosted the women's African nations as well. But the challenges for regular citizens continue to be unemployment and jobs. They've got an approximately 13% of a labor force which is out of work. Youth unemployment is absolutely crazy. 35 to 36% of the youth, young men, are unemployed, and they emigrate to basically Spain, Greece for that reason, because basically there's just no formal employment. The employment there is informal, it's low paid, and literally they've got no benefits. So they resort to basically trying their luck across the pond and everywhere else. And even their minimum wage is modest, which is basically low. And yeah, basically essential goods apparently constrain household budgets, especially in rural areas. So basically this is a significantly poor country for many people who you are going to be expecting to be interested to watch this tournament. Because yeah, you've got some middle class players, as in spectators, but how many are they? Do they have the chance? Do they have the time to take every single day of a tournament out to go and watch a team and pay £15 a pop? If you go with 2 of your kids, 3 of your kids, that is 60, 70, basically you're looking at $100 easily, $150 in an economy where you're making $300 a month at most. It is absolutely not possible. Let us be honest. And they should literally consider just opening the gates for most of these games from halftime, open them up, or just 20 minutes in. Let the people who can afford, the tourists, pay the prices. Let the locals come and watch our matches so we can have that atmosphere we crave to have. African football is not attended as well. Because first of all, when you think about it, you can't fly straight into Morocco from many countries. A country like South Africa, like Zambia, you have to go to Dubai or Ethiopia to connect to Morocco. I don't even know. Yeah, there's a connection. To connect to Morocco, you're connecting, you're not flying in directly. That really, really limits the access. And I promise you, the cost from an African country to Morocco is probably going to be double what you would pay to fly from Heathrow or Manchester or anywhere else in Europe going to Morocco. So it is really restrictive for fans to travel in. And the local fans are priced out. So it is really something crazy. And it is something I guess we just have to sort of deal with, because that is how life is. But yeah, Morocco, please, you did a great job with those 2 games where you opened the gates for people to come in, the fans to come in and watch, because we had a great time listening to them, cheering the teams. And it was nice to see most of the seats taken up. So that is the problem with these ticketing prices that CAF have put in place. Let me know, guys, what you think about it, and is it financially feasible, morally? Is it something that they should definitely do, or is it unfair for the people who have actually already bought the tickets? I reckon they won't mind, because they will have a lot more fans to enjoy the game with. They will be happy to pay. The people who go in and pay for their seats will be absolutely happy to pay, but they should definitely consider letting in some people in for free to improve the atmosphere in the stadiums. And that is my take, guys. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think. Talk soon. Bye-bye.